few months ago, back in summer, I went to a church festival called Satellites. It was an amazing experience that truly expanded my faith journey and helped me grow in my relationship with God. And it got me thinking about what they actually are. Satellites. Satellites are placed into an orbit for a specific reason. They're sent out with purpose, to stay connected and send signals back to Earth. If the wrong satellite were placed into the wrong orbit, it wouldn't be able to do what it was made for. A communication satellite might lose its signal, or a weather satellite might not see the right part of the Earth. Everything would get confused and disconnected. In the same way, we are like God's satellites placed into the world with a purpose and a plan that God has chosen for us. That's what I'm going to talk to you about today. See, I imagine God's plan for us like a perfectly fitted jacket. Not too big, not too small, not too tight, not too loose. Just a perfectly fitted jacket. And as you can see, I have some different jackets with me today. Let's have a look at them. This first jacket represents the plan God has designed for you. It fits just right. Handmade, personal, and intentional. When we're in the plan God made for us, things feel different. We walk with purpose because we're in the right orbit, just like a satellite doing exactly what it's created to do. God's plan for you isn't random. It isn't accidental. It isn't copied from someone else. It's handmade, it's intentional, and it's overflowing with purpose. And when we step into the plan God designed for us, something happens. We feel aligned, we feel steady, and we feel connected to Him in a deeper way. But most importantly, we feel called. Because God does not create average plans. He creates divine ones. And you might not even realize it yet, but the God who hung the stars in the sky stitched a plan for your life with the same level of care. Now, let's talk about this one, the big, soft, comfortable hoodie. We all love these. They're comfortable, and you can hide inside one. But this jacket represents something dangerous, being comfortable in our faith. This is when we say things like, I'm just so young, I can't be any use to God right now. I'll come to God when I'm older, when I have more time, when I need something. We get cozy, we get comfortable, but comfort is not where calling happens. Throughout the Bible, God calls people who are young and unsure and unqualified, and God is still doing that today. Age has never been a barrier for God. God does not make one-size plans. He doesn't just make plans for adults. He doesn't just make plans for children. You can never be too old or too young to follow the plan that God has for our lives. God doesn't wait until you're older. He doesn't wait until you're more confident. He calls you now. And sometimes that means stepping out of your hoodie. Comfort is nice, but calling happens outside of it. Next, we have the jacket that just doesn't fit. Too big or too small. This represents a plan God has designed for someone else, not you. And sometimes we look at someone else's life and think, no fair, I want their plan. We tug and we stretch. We try to force ourselves into someone else's calling. But no matter how hard we try, it just won't fit. Because God didn't design their plan for your shoulders. Just like this coat is designed for Ray and not me. When we chase someone else's orbit, we lose connection with our own purpose. And finally, the jacket covered in holes. At first glance, it looks okay. But when you look closely, you see the flaws. This is the plan we come up with on our own, the plan we think makes the most sense. But God sees the storms we don't see yet. He knows when we'll need protection. He knows which paths are safe and which paths are full of holes. And when God leads us into something difficult, He never sends us there without protection. Sometimes God's plan will lead you straight into a storm. Not over it, not under it, but straight through it. But He will never send you there without a raincoat, without an umbrella, without His protection wrapped around you. God will never put you into something you can't handle. That doesn't mean he won't put you into something that scares you, something that confuses you, something that feels way too big for you. But that's where your faith is most important, and often where God's faithfulness is really clear when it shows up. And it's okay to be scared, because I'm convinced Moses didn't feel ready when God spoke to him through a burning bush and told him to go free an entire nation. And I'm sure Daniel didn't feel safe when he was thrown into a lion's den with nowhere out. And I'm positive Noah didn't understand when God told him to build a boat the size of a football field when it had never even rained before. And I can guarantee Mary didn't feel prepared when the angel said, "You will give birth to the Son of God." And Peter, he didn't feel steady when he stepped out of the boat and the waves started rising around him. These are all examples of people in the Bible that God tested, and people who stood up and followed God's plan, even though it probably felt ridiculous and terrifying. But God was faithful to every single one of them, and God will remain faithful to you. So when you're awaiting those test results, God will not abandon you. When you're stepping into retirement and don't know what's next, God will not abandon you. When you're concerned about a family member or a friend, God will not abandon you. God will not abandon you because God does not abandon what he starts, and he started something in you. A journey, a purpose, a calling. You may feel lost on the journey. You may not know where you're going. You may feel unsure or underqualified, but you can be reassured that God knows exactly where he's guiding you, because he promises us, "I know the plans I have for you," declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. And that future begins the moment you step into the jacket that fits. The moment you stop hiding in comfort, the moment you stop comparing your calling, the moment you stop trusting your own broken plans and step into God's perfect one. So today, as we sit here together on Youth Sunday, I want to leave you with this. Every single jacket I showed you represents a choice. You can choose comfort and stay hidden. You can choose comparison and chase someone else's purpose. You can choose your own broken plan and watch it fall apart. Or you can choose a jacket that God crafted for you, the one that fits, the one that protects, the one that leads you into a future bigger and better than you can ever imagine. God has a plan for your life that is intentional, powerful, and full of purpose. A plan that will stretch you, challenge you, grow you, but also a plan that will shape you into exactly who you're created to be. And my challenge to you is this: stop waiting, stop hiding, stop comparing, stop doubting. Because you might not know every step. You might not know every detail. You might not feel ready. But God says, "I know the plans I have for you." And if the God of the universe knows the plan, holds the plan, and walks with you through the plan, then you can walk forward with confidence into the life he is calling you to live. That is the God who leads you. That is the God who equips you. And that is the God who will never, ever abandon you. So choose the jacket that fits and step boldly into the future God has written for you. Amen.